Good afternoon, Atlanta. Welcome back to Veterans Today. You are listening to Veterans Today on the new WCEG Network on WCEGTalkRadio.com, or you can watch us on live smart TV at YouTube, WCEG. I'm Herman Anderson, and we are your worldwide community group. We speak live in the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and call in and join the conversation at 678-619-1402. And my co-host,
Anthony Aiken, back in the saddle. And gone for a little bit for some illnesses, but God is good and I'm back, and it's so good to be with the WCEG Network family as we charge into 2020 and talk about issues of importance to veterans. During the last hour, we opened up with something that's very near and dear to my heart, and that's dealing with caregivers. Being a 100% disabled veteran with all kinds of issues related to my military career, I have a passion for supporting of caregivers. And next month, March, is the month of the military caregiver, Herman. And that's during this time that Americans recognize and honor military caregivers' sacrifices and the successes that they have in supporting veterans who are disabled and veterans that just need support.
That's definitely important. As we mentioned in the first hour, there are a lot of situations in where veterans need support and caregivers, whether it's physical or living conditions, transportation. Caregivers is always important.
Sure, and you know, it kind of leads into something for you, Herman, because March is also what we call Vietnam Veterans Day. And you being a Vietnam veteran, you know, this is a day set aside to show honor and respect to those Vietnam veterans. So I salute you, my brother. You know, you and all the others that was in that hellhole called Vietnam.
Well, we thank you. We appreciate it. And for several years now, Vietnam, March the 29th has been Vietnam Veteran celebration. Appearance Day. It's done. It was started with the previous governor, and this governor still does it. So this year on March 29, we have several organizations does this in Vietnam Veteran Day, where if you're a Vietnam era veteran, which means you served in the period 1955 to 1974, you're eligible for a certificate and a lapel pin. And in some situations, the governor is present and presents you that pin. And one organization that's having one this year. Like I said, there are several organizations. Dr. Anthony Cooper at the VA,
correct,
who's in charge of volunteer services, is having a Vietnam veteran celebration on March 29th.
Also during the month of March, something that I'm geeked up about, and I know you've already signed up for, that's on the 14th of March over at Morehouse College, will be the U.S. Navy Band to salute veterans. So I'm kind of interested in going to that, being a former musician, hear some real good music played by these servicemen and women. So that's on the 14th of March at Morehouse College. The U.S. Navy Band will be performing. As we move on into April, this one to me is extremely important. It's what we call the Gold Star Wives Day.
Super.
You know, a day set aside to recognize the sacrifices of the Gold Star wives, for those wives that have lost loved ones because of their time in the military. We can't forget that. That's April 5th. We call Gold Star Wives Day. So it's important. Then the month of May, Well, there are a lot of stuff going on in May. It's National Military Appreciation Month. And during that entire month, they'll have all kinds of activities and events going on. You know, Loyalty Day, Silver Star Service Banner Day, V-Day, that's Victory in Europe Day, Military Spouse Appreciation Day. Herman, we can't forget that if we don't want any knuckle knots on our head.
Not at all.
You mean you forgot us? No. Never forget our wives and spouses. A day set aside to acknowledge the contribution and sacrifices they made. Matter of fact, my wife has this T-shirt that said, when he was needed, he was TDY. I was TDY. A lot. TDY. And then we go on to Armed Forces Day and then Memorial Day, the end of May. So from March into May, there's so many things going on that we need to acknowledge right now for you to put it on your calendar and make sure that you're ready for saluting not only, you know, the Vietnam veterans on their day, but the Silver Star Days for wives and National Military Appreciation Month to the family.
And what I ask is two things. Number one is more veterans get involved in the celebration and taking part in the community, and also outreach. Encourage our neighbors in our community to become more involved in what it means being a veteran and what, as we talked about earlier, serving in the military means to this country, which kind of leads into voting, but...
Man, it does. What's coming up on the 1st of April, Herman?
Well,
Census.
The census. Well, actually, that's another one. The census and voting.
And voting.
So it's... We need more community involvement, and some discussion that we've had since Anthony, myself, and Gus been doing this program is veterans tend to be, after we get out the military, we tend to be too laid back. We don't get involved in the community activity as in my opinion, as strong as we should be, because we paid our dues to do it anyway.
Correct. And that's why we need to continue to motivate each other, uplift each other, support each other, because the price that we paid, and that price was, working hard to protect our borders and keeping our nation free from enemies. We got to do that. We have to continue to uplift. There's too many suicides going on. There are too many soldiers with all kinds of traumatic brain injuries, mental health injuries, PTSD injuries, you name it, as a result of their time in the military. So we need to do whatever we can to uplift and keep them going. And that kind of leads into something that has been near and dear to my heart too. Depression. Now, as men and some women, we tend not to want to let folks know that we're depressed. I can recall last year this time I was 230 pounds. Even though I'm 6'3", I felt terrible. But I was depressed. I didn't know what to do. But I got the support of my friends and my family members and my healthcare provider to make a change if I wanted to live. If I wanted to continue to live, I needed to make a change. So when I started taking a look in the mirror at myself that I could see, I was not happy with what I was seeing. I had to make a change. So Herman, I can proudly say to you today and to our listeners out there, that I'm down to 190 pounds now.
Congratulations.
I can actually get into my uniform that I wore the day I retired.
Super.
Herman, when I put my uniform on again, tears came to my eyes. Tears came to my eyes. Because with the help and support of my family and friends, I could see that I could still survive. In spite of. And in spite of. And that's why I say the caregivers and people that love you and care for you, and those out there that want to help you and making the VA system do what they're supposed to do to help you, you can change.
That is true, and the support groups are good too. In Metro Atlanta, there are several vet centers, and they have different support groups. They even have like the one that's in Marietta that's near me, have one specifically for Vietnam veterans. They have them for other groups, and when you, like say, a lot of time you're depressed, and if you go to a support group and there are other Vietnam veterans in there, we all got some issues, and you sit down and talk about it, and you leave there feeling better.
You're feeling better, man. I tell you what, that depression is bad. It's a bad thing. And before you know it, it can overcome you and you're just out of it. Don't want to see anybody, don't want to do anything. You're eating all the time. You're watching that ignorant tube. You're doing everything that is not good for your health.
Well, that's true, and I'm having my doctor to adjust my blood pressure and cholesterol medication now because it got to the point about 6 months ago that the medication was causing me more
issues,
pain and issues than it was helping.
Yeah, and that's a good thing you just brought up on the medication, Herman, because there are so many different things going on right now in regards to veterans and dealing with medication. I know you and I have seen personally veterans take anywhere from 15 to 20 pills a day. Now there's a movement, and we don't condone this, but now there's a CBD oil thing that the Georgia legislation and a lot of other places have passed based on illnesses. It could be Parkinson's disease or MS or whatever. But now you got veterans moving into other areas where they're utilizing marijuana and those kinds of things to eliminate what they consider an illness for them. Now, we're not, condoning it on the show. That's not our purpose. But we're just telling you what veterans are doing out there to get themselves better. And they're trying to do whatever they can to get themselves better. And until the VA makes a decision in regards to, use of marijuana to help with some other deals or the CBD oil to help with some other health issues, I'm just telling you what veterans are doing. And you need to do, you sit down and talk with your healthcare provider and your family members to do what's right for you.
Well, that's true. And also, as we age and your quality of life is important. I mean, whether you're in pain every day or whether you can physically get around, that makes a difference.
Makes a difference. I know of a military veteran, several, that have done very well after their military career and their private businesses and became wealthy men and women, extremely wealthy. But they're in terrible health. They can't even enjoy it. So if you're taking wealth versus health, give me health.
Every time.
Every day. Because if I'm bedridden, I'm at home all day, can't do anything because of my health, what good is money? You know what I mean? What good is it? So get yourself together, get out of that funk, get rid of that funk, get out of that depression, find out what needs to be done to make yourself healthy again. That's very important, being healthy.
Again, let us let you know you're listening to the new WCEG Network, WCEGTalkRadio.com. You can watch us on your smart TV, YouTube at WCEG Network. We are your worldwide community empowerment group, speaking live in the community. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and also on Instagram at WCEG_talk_radio. And call in and join this very interesting conversation at 678-619-1402.
Yeah, and we were just talking about, healthcare issues of importance, and one being depression, but there's several others. PTSD, traumatic brain injury, depression, suicide, chronic pain, amputations. We talked about that in the first hour. We're talking about, the suicide prevention, military sexual trauma, substance abuse problems, exposure to hazardous materials, women healthcare needs. It just goes on and on and on and on. The military, even though it's just 1%, Herman, of our total population, we got a whole lot of stuff we're dealing with that we need help with, man.
And that 1% provides people opportunity, like, I don't even want to say it, our president and his people to do things they do in this country. I'll just leave it at that.
Well, the VA has been in a turmoil for a number of years. We've had a number of VA chiefs. The one that's in there right now has been there the longest. But he's still facing a lot of issues because he's not getting the money. And when you take a look across the board, and we talked about this on the last show, how VA hospitals are rated. There are a lot of VA hospitals that are in lower tier, rating in 1 and 2, with 5 being the highest. I know here in Atlanta, for years it's been, for the last year, it's been rated at number 1 because they were having issues with not only getting staff, but issues dealing with the operating rooms being closed. And then the famous story of a veteran in one of the nursing homes being attacked by ants.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a call. WCEG Talk Radio.
I don't know how I have your number. Sorry about that.
Okay, are you a veteran?
Yes.
Well, maybe that's a good thing that you call. How you doing?
Well, I'm trying to get into the VA system.
Well, that number, it's, you can give him a call, but again, we thank you for calling in by mistake. What's your name?
Oh, this is Dr. Vasco.
Okay, good to call, sir. Well, now that we have you on the phone, is there anything you'd like to say of importance to veterans?
Well, I don't want to be political, but I enjoy what our current president is doing for the veterans and for the military,
okay,
and for the country.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, it's still a work in progress. We were just talking about that on this show, that there's a lot of things that Congress and the VA needs to do to continue getting monies and things of to improve health care and disability benefits for veterans. We were just talking about that.
Yeah, so are we live or?
Oh, no, we're live.
Oh, we're live.
Yes, sir. We are live.
John McCain was a good advocate. I just came from Phoenix, and about 10 years ago, I remember all that problem that the Phoenix VA was notorious for, about turning people away, people dying, the veterans. The King, did a lot. Then Trump came by and sort of fixed things. But interestingly enough, I was involved in that 10 years ago. I went there and they said I was ineligible because I missed it by 6 months. I didn't realize that they were just putting people off. But anyway, I'm going to give it a shot. It's very difficult to get into the VA system, but I've done compensation and pension exam for the veterans that have come back from various wars, even the Second World War. But anyway, nice talking to you.
Thank you very much for calling, sir.
We need to treat our veterans a whole lot better than they have been in the past.
I agree with you.
So God bless y'all, and maybe we'll talk again.
Thanks a lot for calling. Thank you. That was an interesting call. I'm glad you made that mistake.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Very interesting call. But again, I agree. Senator John McCain, yes, he was a Vietnam POW and a veteran, and he was very big on being an advocate for veterans. So I salute him on that comment.
Well, that's true, and we discussed this a little bit in the last show. Is the mission program now versus the choice program? I mean, there are still issues. You were talking about the VA being able to serve veterans and everybody get service. So we're still dealing with that issue.
Yeah, and that's something that our leadership must keep on the forefront. This right now, I see, Herman, and I'm sure you probably agree, with the campaigns that our veterans involved with, they're much younger now.
Yes, they are.
These are young people that will be tied up in the VA system for years, getting out of the military at age 22 and 23 with all kinds of health-related issues. And, man, we're talking someone that can theoretically be in the system for 60 years.
Yeah, and a lot of the injuries are different because of the way the technology, the way they're injured. It's a lot of limbs and...
Oh, my gosh. Loss of limbs, loss of vision, psychological issues. It's just something that's going to be around for a long time. So the caller that just talked about, Congress and President Trump trying to do what they can to increase compensations and benefits for veterans. I hope that's true.
I hope that's true too. And it kind of leads into veterans being involved. We have more veterans down that are seeking elected office, but we need veterans in Washington representing veterans.
And it's surprising that a number of our congressmen and legislative type people aren't veterans.
Yeah.
That's amazing to me. They're not veterans, so they don't understand not having boots on the ground, not serving on a ship, not being in an airplane, not being, in the woods, rocking a sack, eating sea rations. Oh, that not sure how old I am. Sea rations, but eating rations in the field. Cold conditions, hot conditions, rainy conditions. I mean, all of that comes onto that body. And the day you salute to get out, I hope you had it documented in your records that when you go into the VA system, you're not going to have health problems facing veterans that's going to delay you getting the compensation that you've earned or the benefits that's due to you as a result of your military service.
Well, that's true. And what we also do is give out some of the numbers that are important with PTSD, suicide prevention, and things of that nature. Let me give out a few numbers. The National Suicide Prevention Hotline number is 1-800-273-8255. 1-800-273-8255. And that also is the same number for the crisis hotline. 1-800-273-8255. And you can chat on the crisis line at 838-255. 838-255. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-7233. 1-800-799-7233. The National Sexual Assault Hotline is 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. The National Child Abuse Hotline is 1-800-422-4453. 1-800-422-4453. And the National Homeless Hotline is 1-877-424-3838. 1-877-424-3838.
I tell you what, very good numbers, important for our veterans to have, to use. And I continue my research. I'm always looking at, what are some of the health problems facing our veterans? And to me, that's very, very important for you to know and understand. As we said, our military personnel are younger, and some of these health effects going to be long term. It's something just simple hearing loss. For those soldiers and airmen and Marines and Coast Guard and, people that are likely to suffer from, those things because they're around jet engines.
Exactly.
Firing a gun or being exposed to explosive blasts. Hearing loss. Then there's going to be lung problems. I can recall doing Desert Storm, Desert Shield with all of the burning oil fields.
Right.
I mean, fields just burning. Oil, noxious fumes in the air. And that's something that, soldiers and people are going to be involved with for a long time. Then about the chemical injuries. Exotic fumes like coming from jet aircrafts or hydraulic fuels, chemical agent warfare, those kind of things, especially with those veterans that were exposed during the Gulf War.
Well, that's what I've read, some material that the scientists and the doctors and the medical people really haven't had enough time to analyze what the side effects really are.
No. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, but you got to get it documented. You got to put it in your records. Now we're dealing with the TBI, traumatic brain injury. And we're dealing with that right now. That's real world. We got 100 plus military personnel as a result of the last blast that occurred that are going to be dealing with this injury for a very, very long time. And all that could lead to mental health issues. Musculoskeletal issues. Shock, trauma to the body. So you're going to have all these kind of things. It's going to affect my golf swing. You know what I mean? So
it's also going to, that's why we need people in Washington that going to put money in the budget to take care of veterans. Because we already see at the regional VA here that it's not enough. We can blame it on finance, but whatever. It's the culture, the entire situation need to be improved, and you need budget to oversee it, and you need really the proper accountability. You need the proper personnel there to make sure that it happens.
The VA healthcare is the largest healthcare system in the United States.
Yes,
it's the largest one, and as the caller stated, and we stated during the first hour, the issues at the Phoenix VA was sort of like ground zero to bring things out. So as we continue with this mushroom, it's just like, an atom bomb kind of thing, at ground zero and it expands. Now we're finding out all these other problems at other VA hospitals that need to be addressed.
Well, like since we've been doing this, we found out about the one in Phoenix, and we found out about the one in Denver that caused
cost overrun. I was in Denver in what month was that? November. I could not believe the size of that VA hospital, but the amount of money that was spent to get it. Cost overrun. It was just pathetic, the cost overrun that went into that. So, the VA healthcare system, you got to take advantage of it, understand the rules of engagement, always get you a veteran service organization, an officer behind you that they can explain the maze that you're going to be dealing with. That could be a year, even though they're trying their best to slow it down, bring it down on time to get your claim. But until that's done, you got to be due diligent to follow through.
Well, and I just want to say, I think the citizens, which if you didn't serve in the military, you have a family member that did. So the citizen had a responsibility to make sure that your family member is taken care of. So the citizens, all citizens need to be involved and have accountability for the expenditures, for it make sure that the VA is managed properly.
Managed properly, competent staff, given the resources, that mean people and money, to do their job. And again, make those individuals, your healthcare providers, and everybody else that you're seeing accountable for your healthcare. Make sure that you get a copy of your records if you're going through some claim. And make sure that your veteran service officer gets a copy of that claim and it goes through the system. Take care of yourself. Now, if you've already been rated and you're going towards 100% rating, understand if you're at 90%, that doesn't mean that you need 10 more percent. You need a whole lot more to get to that 100% level. And that's bringing new information to the system for you to be rated.
That is, and you definitely need a veteran service officer unless you're going to undertake that research yourself. A veteran service officer is someone that an expert at it will tell you where you can find it. It's 38 CFR.
Yes,
which
Code of Federal Regulations.
Right, and most of us not going to read that. So that means you need a service officer to go in there and interpret that.
Someone that understands, someone that can be your sounding board too, someone that will help you and assist you to deal with that maze. I can recall a couple of years ago when Larry X, one of our listeners, called from the DC area to say, you know what, just because you men talked about things that occurred, it motivated me to go back into the VA system to deal with my issues, PTSD issues. That's that one call, or that one comment motivated him, Larry X, to do what he needed to do.
That's true, and it probably benefited him greatly too to go back.
Sure.
And get his if he was getting getting improvement, getting his conversation completely.
We've had some great guests on. Dr. William Cooper talked about the heart. Cardiologist. He's also retired colonel from the U.S. Army Medical Corps. Talked about, hey, your health, your heart, your ticker. He even wrote a book on it. Talked about that. Then we had Dr. Holly to come on to talk about colorectal cancer and how it affects a lot of veterans. Just go and get you a regular GI inspection. Let them run that tube and find out what's going on. So we've had these individuals on there, on our show, to talk about issues of importance to veterans, but how you should follow through and make sure that the VA system, your healthcare provider, do what's right for you.
And also prostate cancer.
Oh my gosh.
Is important.
Prostate cancer.
And it's also on the list of possibilities if you were exposed to Agent Orange. So that's a big one also.
Yeah. Now, veterans, you knuckleheads out there, you need to say something real. Yes, when you go to the VA and get your blood drawn for PSA tests, that's one thing. But you also need that DRE, that digital rectal exam, for that physician to touch your prostate to see if it's enlarged. Get over that craziness you got in your head. Get checked. September is prostate cancer month. Get yourself checked out. Get over that ego. Let that physician, male or female, and I've had both, male and female, to do a digital rectal exam on me because I needed to know the importance of it. Because cancer, colorectal cancer, prostate cancer, pancreatic cancer, lung cancer, breast cancer. I even had a veteran to tell me in Washington, D.C. last month that he had to go to the doctor to have his breast examined. I said, breast? He said, yes.
Yeah.
For breast cancer. He had fluid coming out of his breast. You wouldn't think about it.
No.
But here's a man. So look, set aside that ego, folks. Stop being a knucklehead. get checked.
Do that, and we also, as we said in the first half, we want to make you aware of some of the other benefits that, besides the disability medical benefits. There are other benefits, and this is from Congressman Lucy Macbeth newsletter. There's about 5 or 6 in here that her office will help you with copies of your military records. So if you're not able to get your military records, or if you're dealing with they lost them or whatever, Congressman Macbeth is in the 6th district, but I mean you have the 5th, the 4th district. You have David Scott. In these, any of your congressmen can help you with your record. Replacement of lost or destroyed service medals or war decoration, unwidened service. Healthcare services including wait time at the VA, applying for supplemental Social Security income or Medicare. Education benefits under the Montgomery GI Bill, post 9/11 GI Bill, reserve and education assistance, dependent and survivor benefits, VA home loan, life insurance, and I want to add one that's also barrier benefits. So, if you, I mean, this still leads into doing your homework when you, this is a election year. So you want to put people, not only the governor, but your congressman, your representative. You want to have people in office that are there to help you and your family.
Exactly right. So these things are very, very important for you to know and understand. These are common issues facing veterans every day. So just be involved. Be involved with your health care, be involved with your benefits, be involved with your compensation, ask questions, support each other, uplift each other. When you wake up in the morning and take a look at that mirror, do that Michael Jackson man in the mirror thing, which is my key every day, man in the mirror. I can't lie to me. That's one thing I can't do is lie to me.
Well, and also I have a veteran group. My group is Veteran Helping Veterans. We meet in Riverdale first and third Thursday, and I had a meeting last night. And some people, you got to be tenacious. You got to have the attitude that no is not the answer. And on some of the issues that I just went through, the guy went to his congressman's office, I won't say which one, and they just told him no, and he just took their word for it. I mean, you can't do that. You just can't lay down when somebody tell you no.
I agree with you. You got to be a fighter. You got to be a fighter. See it through. You know what I mean? You got to see it through. And one thing, Herman, that's something that that motivated me so much through my military career was a poem called "See It Through" by Langston Hughes. See it through. When you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely face to face. You got to meet that trouble. You got to tackle it. You got to tackle it, man, and just don't be a quitter.
And we talked about this also. You don't want to go into someone's office, whether it's at the VA or whether it's in a congressman's office, and be rude and pick a fight.
No scrapping, Herman. Okay.
But you got to be persistent. I mean, I'll leave it at that.
You got to be due diligent. That's what he's saying. Be due diligent. Again, you're listening to Anthony C. Aiken and Herman Anderson on WCEG Radio Network. Please call us. Give us your comments. Go to Facebook. Leave us some comments. Because we're trying to do what's good for you. Bring you current information, factual information to help you become motivated for change. Change for the better. Not only for yourself, but change for the better for your family, because you served and you served with honor and dignity and integrity. So you need to take care of yourself and your family. That's all we're trying to do each time we come on the air, to talk to you about things of importance, because your avenue is about caring, and we want to make sure that the VA takes care of you. And for those veterans who are in wheelchairs or with a cane like I am, etc., we got to make sure that we are doing what's necessary to get ourselves taken care of at these different VA systems around the country. Because we stated before, it is the largest healthcare system in these United States. And the VA was created to care for military veterans because of what they served and things that they had to deal with during their service in the military. So it's the system must be efficient, and we have to make them accountable for what they're doing for us.
Yeah, and again, it's back to being persistent, in just in case. Well, I know there's still some people out there that's not in the Agent Orange database, because I just saw one last night. But anyway, I'm gonna give you a number to call. It's 877-222-8387. So if you're not in the Agent Orange database and you feel like you qualify because of your Vietnam experience, 877-222-8387.
There are two other things, Herman, we need to let them know about, especially for those veterans that are seeking benefits already in the system, is that they have to keep up with this thing called My Healthy Vet, and the other one is called e-benefits.
You're right.
And e-benefits is very important now because it's an online method for you to track your compensations and your disability claims. The My Healthy Vet, I'm on all the time because I utilize it to reorder my prescriptions and to take a look at my lab results, and also to take a look at the doctor's notes as it relates to me. I want to make sure that my family knows, my spouse, my queen, she understands those systems. So if I ever become incapacitated for whatever reason, she has some resources that she can go to help me. Again, a caregiver. So that's being My Healthy Vet and e-benefits.
Well, and I mean that the part you covered there is your spouse or someone having the technical skills to do it.
Correct.
I mean, to be honest with you, no, some of us Vietnam veterans, I know I got some in my group, so I said, our technology skills is not up to par. So I just say it that way. But I mean, it's getting down to My Healthy Vet, e-benefits, and you can also use va.gov. But we're headed toward a paperless society. So some way or another, you're gonna have to have some technical skills, or you're gonna have to have your caregiver or someone in your family do that. That's important.
Also, too, though, if you're challenged, and then many of you are, many of us have cell phones or regular phones that we can call the VA benefits line.
Exactly.
So don't use your non-technical skills being a knucklehead as something to stop you. You can call 800-827-1000. That's 800-827-1000, and you'll speak with a VA personnel, and you can talk about your benefits. Your compensation can be educational. You can find out about your DD Form 214. They'll give you information where to go. They'll follow up with you on your claims, everything.
Well, that's technology, and there's a lot of VA programs that a voice activated. You can actually, like say, with the cell phone, you can just have a conversation back and forth
about you. And there have been times I've been on the phone an hour. They made me wait an hour. I keep them on the phone an hour. Because I'm going to ask a whole lot of questions until I'm satisfied that I'm getting the right answer. And if that person is not giving me what I think I need, I'll ask for someone else. You know what I mean? You have that right. Now, of course, when you call, they're going to give you the standard blurb. You know, the VA has a right to keep something up to 180 days and all that. You know, that's just a standard comment. But again, you still need to be due diligent. You still need to follow through. You still need to have the tenacity to ask the hard questions and the right questions to your healthcare provider or to your veteran service officer organization to help you trying to get what you need. That's all I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah, and all we're trying to say is you have earned it, and if you got an issue, a health issue, a compensation issue, or you just need information, or if it's if you're on a crisis line, you need to persist. You need to be persistent and talk to someone and get some feedback. Just don't become frustrated and hang up.
For every no, there's a yes. Just because you ran that first no doesn't mean that's the end of the road. There's a yes. You just have to be diligent to find out what you really need, to find out about yourself, your family, about things that you've earned. So
and sometimes when you call, you're dealing with an issue, so you need an answer. You need some help. So I'm not gonna go away without an answer.
No.
Somebody's sending me in another direction. I'm just not gonna take no for an answer.
No, for every no, there's a yes. Remember that. You know how you were in the military. We always have to have a plan A and a plan B. When you're doing your operational orders, come on, guys and ladies, go back. If things go wrong on A, you got a B, because you followed through and you studied it.
That's really a big issue, and when you when you out in the military and when you working dealing with your personal life, dealing with a nonprofit, you find people that got no plan,
None.
and that really pushes your butt.
Get you fired up. You know what I mean? So again, folks, we're just here to tell you the truth. We're here to motivate you, to uplift you, and you're listening to Anthony C. Aiken and Herman Anderson.
We just had a great 2 hours of Veterans Day, WCEG Talk Radio. We're the Worldwide Community Empowerment Group. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and call in and join the conversation at 678-619-1402. And as we said earlier, WCEG Network has many programs that are on daily. Please tune in to any of them that you feel like you enjoy and listen. And we, as Veterans Today, sign off. Have a happy weekend, and we'll see you the next time.
See you again. Take care. Bye-bye.